Love it or hate it, apartments in Calgary are the most expensive they have ever been in Calgary's history. So let's go figure out what the heck is going on. Hi, my name's Fyfe, your Calgary Realtor. If you're looking at developing a game plan or figuring out how these numbers best reflect your personal situation, please go ahead and click the link in the description to book a Zoom call with me. So let's go figure it out. So let's start this off to see what the Calgary Real Estate Board has written about apartments in its entirety. Now to start this off, the stronger sales were possible thanks to recent gains in new listings. Now this is unique for this property sector because not all property sectors are experiencing this stuff. There still is an inventory issue as levels remain 23% lower than what was available in May 2022, but the new listings have helped offset some of the price gains by offsetting the buyer demand with more product. Now, the unadjusted benchmark price reached $298,600, which is a new record for Calgary Real Estate. So this screenshot here showcases that the last time we saw this was in October 2014, which we reached $298,500. So yes, we have officially become the most expensive we have ever been for apartments in Calgary. If you scroll down here a little bit, you can see 2023, 2015s, going down to 2007s. So apartments have finally recorrected and have come back to prices seen in 2014, which is good to see, but at the same time, where is it going to stop? Because at the end of the day, there is no slowing down in sight. So let's continue on. So what is benchmark price and what is benchmark? This description here showcases exactly what an apartment is in Calgary for the benchmark price. It is a 2-bed, 2 full bath, 905 square foot home, baseboard natural gas heating. It has 5 total rooms, underground parking, and built in 2005. Now, this is kind of like the total residential. It's the entire city. So breaking it down into quadrants will help break it down a little bit more for your personal situation, but then diving into communities and areas will help you out even more. So let's keep going. Now I'd like to touch on this chart here a little bit more because there's a lot of good information in here. It only goes back 12 months, but it still gives you a pretty good reflection. The red bar is the price point, the blue bar is the inventory, and the green bar is the sales. So the red bar, very obvious. You can see that it's shot up over the last 6 months up to new record highs. You can see that the blue bar actually dropped pretty great from last year when the interest rates were increasing. Not many people knew what was going on. But if you actually look at the sales actually stayed steady in a way that was more competitive than, let's say, detached or semi-detached homes in Calgary. The sales stayed relatively flat for the most part, which caused a very nice leveling out of price point in late 2022, which I was really happy to see. Now, 2023, completely different story. You can see that the sales have increased dramatically. The inventory has also increased, but the gap between the two is getting tighter and tighter. There are so many people moving here right now. Our net migration is going through the roof and our price points are reflecting that. And right now, in my opinion, there's no slowing down in sight. So let's continue on. Now, this is the year-to-date stats package for condo apartments in Calgary as a whole. This just gives us a general idea of where we're at. You can see that the sales have increased, the new listings have increased, and the inventory has miraculously stayed the exact same. Funny enough, the days on market has actually increased as well. So it's a little bit of conflicting here, which is interesting. The sales have increased quite a bit. You can see in the last year, it's the most sales we've had in 1 month. The new listings has thankfully increased to over 1,000, which is actually fairly on average from 2022. And the inventory, I don't know how this has happened, but it's actually stayed relatively flat. And you can see that the inventory is quite low, especially if you compare January to October of last year. Now, I'm not sure why this is, but the days on market has actually increased a little bit, 2 days. I don't have an explanation for that. And the benchmark price has increased by another $4,000, upping to $298,600. So all in all, this is pretty crazy. So let's continue on. Clearly, sales have been the highest they've been in the last 12 months, which we just talked about. And this chart right here showcases the last 10 years. And the sales have absolutely blown through the 10-year average, which is really great to see for condo apartments. Because if you look at 2015 to 20, we had a very deflated apartment sector. Prices were falling, there was no movement, and nothing was happening in this market. And when we scroll down here to the new listings, you can see that the new listings stayed the same. 2019 and 20, they dropped, but from 15 to 18, they stayed the same while sales were decreasing. Now, when we look at new listings year to date from 2023, we're actually on par with 2021 and 2022, which is interesting to see. But again, referring back to the sales, you can see that the sales have increased. So simple supply and demand, clearly that the prices are increasing. It's nice to see new listings up higher than the last 10 years, but it's just not nearly enough to offset the buyer demand currently going on in this market. So with that being said, to put it in perspective, this is total inventory. Total inventory is all property types in all of Calgary. And you can see that it's morphed into different quadrants of the city. In the end of May, we only had over 3,000 homes left over for sale, which sounds like a lot, but of a city of 1.8 million people, that's not much at all. You can see in 2018, we had close to 9,000 homes left over in all of Calgary. Clearly, there's an inventory problem. Not a lot of people want to sell their property. Maybe the interest rates are too high, whatever the case might be, I'm not sure. So if you're going to get out there, make sure you have this in mind because it is very important that you stay competitive. All right, almost done. This is the microeconomic outlook for apartments in Calgary. We break it down into quadrants. So this is the sales, this is the new listings, and this is the sales to new listing ratio. You can see that the average for the city is 83.7 sales to new listing ratio, which is quite high. You can see that there is a couple over 100, Calgary North and Calgary Southeast, over 100% sales than there is new listings, which is pretty crazy. This is the inventory, and then here is the months of supply. Months of supply indicates how fast the homes will move if no new sellers, no new buyers came into the market. At the current pace that it's in, you can see that on average it's 1.27, but there are places like Calgary North, Northeast, Calgary South, Southeast, and East, which are all under 1 month, which is very much a seller's market. This is the benchmark price for each quadrant. This is the year-over-year percentage, and then here's the month-over-month percentage. Now, pretty crazy to see actually. Calgary Southeast, now not by much, but they did drop by about $924, where every other quadrant has increased. You can see Calgary North and Calgary West have increased by over $9,000 in 1 month. So, this chart here showcases the price growth over the last 5 years. If you plan on getting in the market, it is very important to stay competitive. Now, there still are deals to be out there. If homes have been on the market for longer than 30, 40 days, you can still secure a good deal. But it's planning, building your foundation and figuring out how to actually approach these things. So for more information, click the link in the description. But I guess I'll see you on the next one. Peace.